We know the trailblazers of the civil rights movement from history lessons, the familiar heroes who forged a path to guide others. But there are other trailblazers we should honor as well, people who work hard for opportunity and education for all in their communities, some right here at Lewis University.
Trailblazers are people who who step up, who don't wait for others to get it done. Elmer came to Lewis University. He didn't wait for somebody else to do it. He was the first one here, black. He completed his education here.
He was the first to go to a four-year college. Well, he had confidence that was built on his growing up, but he only had good things to say about the college.
Elmer was a very, very bright guy. You didn't daunt him. Things didn't frighten him. He didn't hesitate to do something because it was hard or somebody said you can't do it or this kind of thing.
Elmer didn't think anything of not overcoming people who wanted to do him, drag him down or make him think he was less than what he thought of himself.
It's always been stressed, get your education, get your degree, and then nobody can take anything from you. And that was my uncle in a nutshell. My uncle Elmer was, that was his life's work. He did it with pride and love and mutual respect for all Americans.
Elmer Sims at Lewis University and being the first black student, what do you say about it? It's when I look back on my career, I'm glad in some aspects that I didn't have to shoulder that. He's one of the people, you talk about making change. I think he's one of the change makers to the DNA of the culture.
My sister had a wisdom that you don't see in many people.
And her requirement that there be equal justice. If she went to Lewis or anywhere she went, there was going to be trouble if they had anything that suggested racial bias or anything that would deny women an opportunity to achieve anything.
Kathleen was always fighting for those individuals who she didn't think could fight for themselves.
She was always entering into areas in which she had to create something to get done what she wanted to get done. We got together with the NAACP, created the Warren Sharp Center, an agency where we were going to, as Kathleen put it, create a safe and secure environment for our kids.
My mother, who could certainly afford to move wherever she wanted to move to, refused to leave her neighborhood.
She believed in education, she believed in learning.
A lot of her friends who had, finished junior college and settled into other things, she harassed them into finishing school. She thought every woman ought to get educated, get a college education.
She decided to go back to college at the age of 30, and I was 8 years old at the time. My brothers were 6 and just a baby. And we used to sit at the dining room table and do our homework together. She never let herself be limited or constrained by her gender, by her race, by her socioeconomic status.
Kathleen was like my mom.
The students were always at our house. She cooked for them. They did laundry at our house. If they were in trouble and they were afraid to call their own mother, they would call my mother.
She believed students didn't get enough support. A lot of the changes Lewis made at the time was based on some of the things that she wanted done.
I think she would be very pleased that she'd be honored as a Trailblazer because of the scholarship factor. I don't think I've ever met anybody else in the world who valued education and knowledge and learning and having a curious mind about things as much as she did.
While she lived, she didn't hesitate to step off the sidewalk and walk into the street and ask those who felt like she did to join her. And if that's not trailblazing, I don't know what is.
He was profound. He was a person who made you think.
I remember him stepping to the podium. There was a president, but when he came to speak, everyone was captivated because he had this type of deep, bass-like voice, and when he opened his mouth, it boomed and captured your attention.
He touched a number of presidents. He didn't feel that he was the first black anything.
To me, his greatest passion was the students. He really wanted to see everyone that came in excel.
He saw the ability for us sometime down the road to actually do what we were meant to do. We were meant to be human first. It wasn't about a black issue or a white issue. It was about a people issue. And he felt that once we figured out to get along with each other, we would have a different world.
At that age, having a man that acted as a father figure also on campus to so many students, he made a great impact on all of our lives.
He was like a father to me, but not just me. I mean, I thought that I was special because I said he's doing this for this black student, and he, you know, he's got that bond, and I found out that he was doing it for the guy that lived down the hall that was white as well.
We had Black Student Union Month that we actually celebrated with noted celebrities and entertainers. Cicely Tysley, Ruby Dee, Alex Haley. Lewis offered what a big college would offer for us through those programs. And if it wasn't for Dr. Kennedy, that wouldn't have happened.
His vision was he wanted everybody to see what came from Africa. He wanted everybody to see what the connections on the Serengeti Plains were. He wanted to know that there was things happening in South Africa then that we should know about.
I think Mr. Kennedy kind of shied away from people honoring him because I never recall him ever taking in accolades about what he did. And I hate that we never got a chance to do that.
I can tell you that I don't think Barack Obama would be in the White House today without Dr. Kennedy.
I would tell Mr. Charles Jones that he has been an inspiration for a lot of us.
My mentors, as well as mentors of friends of mine, like Ray Bolden, Kathleen Bolden, and others, were individuals in the community. I became the first advisor to that group of students who formed the first Black Student Union. Not only did it allow individuals to interact with people who were like them, it was an opportunity for them to be able to socialize outside of classroom.
I think Charles is a trailblazer because he invented things that needed to be done. Everybody deserves a chance, but they may not know how to get there. And so what he invented was a way for people to have the best.
I recognized that I alone could not be all things to all people as it related to the students. I hired Charles Kennedy as the first director of Minority Affairs. I hired Kathleen Bolden to work directly with the students. The Christian Brothers were very open to that kind of thing and worked very hard to make sure that the adjustment of the students was as good as it could be.
His idea of working with people is that everyone deserves a chance. What he did for this university has made it prosper. Lewis University is a better place for everyone and not just for minority students.
Quite frankly, the awards are really secondary to the accomplishment. The work is never done, and so you're never really satisfied. I always tease my wife. I say, you know, the one phrase that I want to put on my tombstone is that he cared. I care.
Today, thanks to the work of those that came before them, graduates of Lewis University are blazing trails of their own, putting education to work in communities in the region and around the world.